and let us all do we can to build a better future.
Now, I want to return back to outreach because my audience wants to know about outreach, because it's one thing to reach out to Trump supporters. And the thing is, I believe that, yeah, we need to speak to people. The corporate media, however, as well as the two-party neoliberal system of the Democrats and the Republicans, have more or less successfully brainwashed a lot of us into thinking, well, it's got to be Team Red versus Team Blue. Now, I've spoken to Trump supporters. I've spoken to libertarians, Greens, etc. Everyone more or less has the same wants, hopes, dreams, their worries and concerns as well. But it's one thing to reach out to Trump supporters, which again is something I agree with. I think it's important to have dialogue. Politics 101 is convincing everyone that you are the better of all of your competition. But also there's a thing about reaching out to the Black community that has been more or less abandoned by the Democratic Party, even though we hear from corporate media saying, oh, well, no, the Black community should listen to the Democratic Party. Same thing with the Latino community. The Democrats want to say, oh, they care about the kids in cages, even though the kids are still in cages. What is your plan to really outreach to the Black community that has more or less been screwed over, not only by the Republican Party, but by the Democratic Party? Because I think there's a lot of communities, Latinos, Black community, and people who are just burnt out by electoral politics, who just are done and see no reason to get involved in electoral politics at all, period.
Well, we're having one of our big kickoffs in Jackson, Mississippi on Emmett Till Day with the Emmett Till family. Why? Because historically, of course, there's a sense in which, you being from Chicago, you understand this, that all roads somehow go through Mississippi if you're really concerned about Black America. And we could say that's true for America as a whole when you look at the shaping of Chicago about Black Mississippians. But for me, you see, when you talk about Black America, you're also talking about levels of pessimism and suspicion of the electoral political system. As you know, almost 40% of our fellow citizens do not participate at all. That's going to be a major focus of this campaign, convincing folk who have given up on both parties, given up on politics in this electoral form across the board. How do you bring some spirit, galvanizing energy to those folk? That's true in many ways with young people of all colors, you see. But the Black community, my campaign begins in many ways on the chocolate side of town, because my mama and daddy and cousins and friends and kids and so forth are chocolate. I look at the world in part through the lens of the Fannie Lou Hamers and Martin Kings, as someone who's been deeply shaped by white supremacist bombardment, whose parents were enslaved, whose great parents were enslaved, whose great grandparents were Jim and Jane Crow. And so it goes hand in hand with my concerns about the nation that I would want to speak to the Black community. But what that means is, and during the years of Obama, where I got in a lot of trouble, when I was very critical of him being so thoroughly beholden to Wall Street, when he opted for Wall Street over home owners, when he went to that meeting of March of 2009 and said, I stand between you and the pitchforks. He was talking to the Wall Street executive. I stand between you and the pitchforks.
Saying that he would put on his walking shoes too and say that he would be there with the protesters, which I've never seen him do.
But he said he would protect Wall Street, which he did. When Wall Street crimes, we haven't told a story about the insider trading and market manipulation, the predatory lending, the fraudulent activities, and with Eric Holder, Black Attorney General himself, coming out of Wall Street. They did not bring the force of the law on Wall Street. But let that happen to a working class brother or sister of any color. Let that happen to a poor brother and sister of any color. The law comes down hard. So that's just one example, again, of being willing to speak to Black America in the name of truth and justice. You see, this is, you can't engage in any serious struggle for freedom, whatever color of the community, if you don't understand that truth and justice is bigger than your skin color. It's bigger than your gender. It's bigger than your sexual orientation. It's bigger than your region. It's something that brings judgment upon each and every one of us. So that the dialogue within the Black community is going to be one in which the neoliberal Black leadership will be coming at me tooth and nail. Mm-hmm. And I welcome their hostility. I think that they are tied to lies and mendacity and being holding the corporate power. Let's go at it publicly. Let's
That-
debate publicly.